Have you ever looked at someone in their 70s or 80s and thought, how are they still so full of life, while others the same age are barely holding on? Why does one woman still hike mountains at 82 while another struggles to get out of bed at 72? Today, you'll meet stories, maybe even mirrors, of lives lived fully and the 7 signs that science says can predict how long you'll thrive after 70. This isn't about fear, it's about hope, about understanding the signs you can control and the ones you may not even realize are shaping your future. Because your life isn't over at 70, it may just be beginning. And if you love someone over 70, this video might just be the wake up call that helps them live longer, better. Each of these signs isn't just a medical fact, it's a mirror to your future, a wake up call, a second chance. So please stick around, not just to learn, but to reflect, because the last point might be the one that hits home hardest. Now, let's dive in. 1. You still walk fast, even without trying. Here's a strange truth. Your walking speed might be a stronger predictor of longevity than your blood pressure. Science says a 2021 study in JAMA found that people over 70 who walked faster had significantly lower risk of death, regardless of other health conditions. Why? Because walking pace reflects overall body function: muscles, heart, brain. I remember Mr. Tanaka, an 85-year-old in Osaka who outpaced younger tourists every morning. His secret? A daily walk to the river, not for fitness, but to greet the trees, as he called it. He passed 90 with no meds, no cane, just purpose and pace. The way you walk reveals how long you'll live. If you're still moving forward with energy, that's your body's way of saying, I'm not done yet. 2. You have a reason to wake up every morning. It's called ikigai in Japan. In English, we call it purpose, and it can literally save your life. A study from the National Institute on Aging found that seniors with a strong sense of purpose had less risk of stroke, heart disease, and Alzheimer's. Purpose protects the brain, the heart, and the will to keep going. Helen lost her husband of 40 years at 74. The grief nearly crushed her until she started reading to kids at the local library. 3 years later, she's 77, healthier than before. She says, I don't live for myself anymore. I live for their little smiles. If you know your why, your body will find a way. Purpose isn't just spiritual, it's cellular. It rewires your brain for longevity. 3. You can get up from a chair without using your hands. This one sounds small, but don't underestimate it. It's called the sit-to-stand test, and it can predict how many more years you might have. Brazilian researchers discovered that people over 70 who could sit down and stand up from the floor without using their hands had a higher survival rate over 6 years. Why? It measures muscle strength, balance, and flexibility, all key for avoiding falls, which are a major cause of death in older adults. Maria, 79, does yoga twice a week. Not for fitness, but for her independence. Her goal? To never have to call someone to help her up. That's her measure of freedom. If you can rise on your own, you'll rise for a long time. Strength isn't just in your arms, it's in your autonomy. 4. You still laugh, even when things go wrong. Here's something you might not expect. Joy predicts survival. Science says positive emotional outlook has been linked to lower levels of inflammatory markers, lower blood pressure, and longer life. In fact, people who regularly laugh, even in tough times, have better immune function. James, 76, was diagnosed with cancer, but every time I visited, he was cracking jokes with the nurses. He lived 3 years longer than doctors expected. His secret? If I'm going to go, I'd rather go laughing. If your spirit is still light, so is your biological age. Aging doesn't have to be serious to be strong. 5. You still make plans for the future. Most people stop planning because they think they're near the end. But science shows those who think long-term live long-term. Science says a study from Yale found that seniors with a positive outlook on aging lived 7.5 years longer on average. Why? Because your mindset literally shifts how your body ages. Arthur started learning Italian at 80, not because he needed to, but because he wanted to visit Rome at 85. He made it, and he said, "The trip was beautiful, but the planning, that's what kept me alive." The minute you stop dreaming, you start declining. So make plans, book trips, learn new things. Your body listens to your beliefs. 6. You have deep, ongoing friendships. Loneliness isn't just painful, it's deadly. In fact, it's now considered as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Science says studies from Harvard and Stanford show that strong social ties are one of the most powerful predictors of a long, healthy life. Not just acquaintances, but real, heart-level connections. 3 women in their 80s, widowed, retired, and often forgotten, made a deal to call each other every morning. They called it their heartbeat check. They're 87 now, still laughing, still here. If someone checks in on your heart, you'll likely live long enough to thank them. Connection isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. 7. You still sleep. Deeply and wake refreshed. Sleep isn't rest, it's repair, and after 70, your body needs every minute of it. Science says, the National Sleep Foundation says seniors who sleep 7 to 8 hours with minimal interruptions have better memory, fewer chronic diseases, and longer lifespan. Eleanor changed just one thing at 75. She stopped watching the news before bed. Instead, she started doing 10 minutes of meditation. Within 3 weeks, her insomnia faded, and so did her blood pressure. Your nights shape your days and your future, so guard your sleep like gold, because it is. Let's pause and breathe. These were not just tips, they were lifelines. Walk with purpose, wake with meaning, rise on your own, laugh through pain, plan like you're 25, connect deeply, sleep soundly. If even one of these stirred something in you, don't let it go. Tell me, which sign hit home for you? I read every comment, and often, your stories shape my next videos. If this helped you, give it a like. Not for me, for the person who might stumble on this video when they need it most. And if you felt something here, something real, subscribe. Join this community where we don't just talk, we grow. Because no matter your age, your next chapter starts now.